So my name is Sean Fitzpatrick, also known as Sean Fitzness, as you probably know me on social media. And I've been an online trainer for the bones of the last 2 years, and before that I was an in-person personal trainer. I've worked with individuals of all ages, genders, jobs, sexual orientations and abilities, and I've compiled a very stringent list of characteristics that tend to categorize my most successful versus my most unsuccessful clients. And today, it's the shit clients getting the brunt of the stick. So one very common trait of some of my most unsuccessful clients are the individuals who lack an ability to prioritize. And what I mean by this is they're individuals who sign up to a coaching plan or undergo a weight loss journey and expect to live the exact same way that they have been living prior to signing up, but with the addition of an optional meal plan or the use of a workout plan to use if and when required. I've had clients who have been dismayed at the fact that they cannot get results, continuing to go on the piss 2 or 3 times a week, tracking their food half of the fucking time, then eating whatever the fuck they wanted the other half of the time. But if you're going to live and do exactly as you've done, you're going to get the same results you always have. And if you have lived a life that has led you to the point where you're disgusted to look at yourself in the mirror, you don't fit into any of the fucking clothes that are left in your wardrobe, and the shops don't have any more sizes, you have quite clearly been living a life of massive imbalance for the last God knows how long. And God forbid, you may have to sign up to a plan or undergo a weight loss journey and undergo a period of imbalance on the opposite end of the spectrum to bring you to a point of equilibrium where you can then start building the lifestyle that's going to work for you long term. God forbid, there's going to be a rake of anti-diet people who are going to vehemently stitch this video when I say that you may need to implement a period of restriction. You may need to actually cut back on the amount of times that you're going on the piss mindlessly every week. You may actually have to commit to tracking every meal that you consume for the next number of weeks. But rather than looking at it as a bane on your fucking existence, look at it as the tools that is going to get you to a better and a healthier physical composition, which in turn is probably going to improve your mental composition. How much fitter, how much better looking, how much more confident could you be and better off as a person if you were to invest in the next 8 to 12 weeks in becoming the best possible physical version of yourself? How much better could your quality of life be if you were to commit to the next 8 to 12 weeks of hitting 10,000 steps per day, tracking every morsel of food that crosses your lips, and hitting 3 workouts a week? It may not, even at that bare fucking minimum, be something that you're able to sustain long term. But you're first going to need the quick wins that's going to fuel the motivation, which is hence going to fuel the results. But you are going to need those quick wins in the early onset in order to stay as motivated as possible to keep implementing the same habits. But there's no two ways about it. You are going to need quick wins in the early onset of a weight loss journey in order to stay motivated to stick at it long term. And if you're shooting yourself in the foot 1 or 2 weeks into a weight loss plan because you lack the discipline to say no to every second drinking invitation that you get from the lads, but then you can't complain about staying rooted in the exact same spot that you're in. God forbid you may have to cut back on the amount of meals out that you consume in a week. God forbid you may have to reduce the amount of takeaways you absorb. But further down the line, once you've gotten yourself to a composition that you're happier with, that you're more confident in, you're going to be better placed in order to reintroduce certain habits and behaviors that you would like to have involved in your lifestyle long term. But even for me, who's 10 years into the gym, having a fairly decent grasp over his nutrition, I can't just go and eat whatever the fuck I want, drink whenever the fuck I want, and expect to maintain a very decent body composition, because if I do that, I'll get fat. But I have weighed up that being in a decent body composition most of the year is worth more to me than the constant instant gratification of being able to eat ad libitum whatever the fuck I want whenever I want. And that's a conversation that you'll have to have with yourself. Every decision that we make in life is a choice, and it's usually a trade-off between one of 2 outcomes. Yes, there is this utopia of balance, but it's not quite as easy or as straightforward to adhere to as many influencers online who are struggling for coaching applications would lead you on to believe. It sounds very nice to have zero restriction, to do as you have always done and get into the shape of your life, but the chances of that happening is pretty close to fuck all.